Yeah, hi everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'll be the anchor of the show today. Great to have you all. I hope you've had a good week. Just a reminder of the topic for today, which I believe you will have seen. It's trending consensual recording of intimate time. Should we be worried? Consensual recording of intimate activities. Should we be worried? This is an interesting topic stimulated by a trending issue that happened just this week. So we have heard of the story. I'm sure you've heard of a a man in Equatorial Guinea. He's a senior government official by name Baltazar Ebang Ngonga. And what was the story around him? He was being investigated for financial crimes, and in the process, it was found that he had recordings of his intimate moments with over 400 women, 400 different women in his office. So this his office computer contained videos of over 400 different women, and this has raised a lot of discussions. While there are ongoing debates about the moral aspect of this and other aspects of this, we will be concentrating on the idea of recording our intimate moments, especially when it's consensual. Is this something that should be normal? Is it something that should be normalized? You know how we do it. Please support our platform. How can you do this? You can like us, you can follow our different platforms on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. You can forward the videos. Those are the way. You can also subscribe to us, especially on YouTube. We need subscribers on YouTube. This is how we do it. If you want to join the discussion today, we might be a lot, so I doubt there might be enough space to accommodate on people that were not planned for. But just know that you can always chat with us actively on the chat box, and we will respond to you. We want to hear your opinion. Yes, welcome everyone. We will also be having a barrister among us. That would be great. We want to hear the legal perspective. In order to save time, what we are going to do is I will be giving the panelists a free hand to tell me what they think about this discussion, and we'll end with the barrister telling us about the legal aspects. So let me start by introducing the panelists on ground. We'll expect two more persons, I believe. So at the moment, I have Tunde Gold. I'm sure you are used to him already. He's one of the organizers of this program. We have Dr. Shehu Akinlua, a mental health specialist. We're always glad to have her with us. She brings a lot to the table. We have Innocent Omodiale, one of the team and organizers, is also available with us today. We're expecting Mars, someone you also know. She's one of the team. And then we're expecting Barrister Abdul, um, who would give us the legal aspect. Okay, so let's kick start. I will start with so how we're going to take it. Just to save time, Tunde, will you? Sorry, just give me 1 minute. Let me make sure I'm taking us in the right order. So let's start by coming. Okay, let's start by talking a bit about these trends. I will just start so as to give us enough time to settle in. Um, the idea of recording ourselves during intimate moments has always been there as long as I can remember, but it looks like it's becoming common. It's becoming a trend. We have people who derive pleasure in this and participate in it. What has stimulated this rising trend? In my mind, I try to remember in my youthful days, I do recall that there are a lot of men that like to speak or talk about their sexual activities and prowess. I wonder if this might be related to people wanting to have a record of their sexual activities. I truly do not know what stimulates this idea. We also have people who say that it gives them pleasure, while some says it makes them feel like it's a trophy they've won. They want to keep the records. There might be various reasons, but the summary is that it's becoming a trend, it's becoming common. Why is this the case? We would want to hear what you think. Please put what you think in the comment section. Let's hear from you. So let's move on. Um, I want to start with Innocence. We have you here. Let's utilize your presence before. Oh, Innocent is not here. Oh, okay. Okay, so Mars is not yet here. So let me hand over to Tunde. Please, Tunde, let's hear from you. What do you have to say about this topic we have to discuss today? Let's hear from you. While we wait for Innocent and Mars to come in.
Okay, good evening. Uh, Today I'm still struggling with my camera. I'm trying to change my webcam. I hope you can all hear me.
We can hear you very well.
Okay, so I'm using another webcam, so I'm still struggling to position it rightly. Okay, so the topic before was it's a very, very important one, and I'm sure many people that are online watching now would. It's a trending topic, and so it's apt that we are bringing it on board now. We're discussing consensual recording of our intimate moments, intimate activities. Um, because of the kind of environment we are speaking from, or most of us are from, these things are very appalling. So this is not the norm in those days. Before, your sexual activities are sacred things, that things that are kept very private. Whatever happens now, that people are now making it. In fact, before, when husband and wife newly wedded, you know, gets married, the wife is so shy. The first day we hear experiences of people that just get married, and the woman is so shy that even when the husband wants to lay with the wife, you know, they are so shy that they can't to even to even naked themselves. For the wife to be naked in presence of the husband, she's shy. But these days we see that it's no longer obtainable again. People have left every form of shame and every form of um, uh, things that should be kept in the closet, and they're bringing it to the public glare. This is one thing that makes this topic very interesting. Why are we why do we derive joy in showing our private moments? Why is the private moment becoming public? What is supposed to be private, why is it becoming public? So it will be an interesting one, especially as to us trying to see the legal implications of all these things. I believe there are other implications that we will look at. So I'm also hoping to learn in these conversations tonight, even as I bring my own experience and opinion on the topic. Thank you, Anchor Moderator. Moderator.
Thank you so much for that. It was a nice discussion. You've made us think about where we are coming from and reminded us of where we are. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, Innocent, I do know that sometimes you might have network issues. Are you able to speak now? Let me bring you into the studio. Are you able to speak now? So can you contribute to the topic? Let's hear from you. What do you think? Ah, Innocent, can we hear you? Okay. While we wait for Innocent to come up, Shil, let's hear from you. I believe you might bring some, mental health aspect into the discussion. Let's hear from you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. If we are not talking, can we mute? Yeah,
Can you hear me, please?
loud and clear.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, sir. So when I saw the old trending news, different things came to my mind. So, but we would just, make examples, talk about, some of the things Mr. Tunde Gold has talked about. So, looking at it from, mental health perspective, there are things that should actually be eating. There is for everyone, whether we think one has got mental health problem, or we are all humans. We are all humans, and sometimes we know what is right, and our conscience can testify to tell us that, oh, this particular thing is wrong or what is right. So if I'm to look at that case, that story, one, someone who has had intimacy with over 400 people, different things will come to my mind. I'm not talking about that man. Let me just talk about somebody else. 400 people. So this person is at risk of diseases. So I need to know, why is the person engaging in this kind of activity? Is it that this person is naturally, reckless, or could we be dealing with a mental health issue? And then now going to that extent of recording, that tells me that this could actually mean that this person has got, okay, let me not say that person. If I see a case like that, could that person have a personality disorder? Because there are some things, like we need to know the intention, behind some certain activities. So if I'm to look at it holistically, okay, I could talk about, okay, could this person be a psychopath? I'm not talking about the man, but like, yeah. So could this person be a psychopath? Is it trying to derive pleasure in this thing? Is it trying to, milk people, to get money out of them? Or is it trying to, okay, if you look at these families, like the for over 400 women that has been affected, one way or the other, they would face shame, number one. They will face divorce. They will face, their stories all over internet. Suicide is impending for some people. We pray it doesn't happen, but they have to be under suicidal watch. People have to ensure that they don't kill themselves, because a secret, that must not be aired has happened, because their children also, will become aware at some certain stage. When you think about internet, you say people can forgive, but internet will not forget. That's some of the policy of the kind of job we do. If I need to get some information about some things, if I go to the internet will not forget. Even in 20 years time, it will still be there. That record is there. So if I'm thinking of, okay, could this person, based on some of this hypersexuality, is this person just doing it for fun, or is there really a disorder of the mind? may think so. And then looking at STDs, HIV, AIDS, any other diseases, and without protecting himself, so many things, so many things. So if this kind of person comes to the table, we need to examine, before they even sentence, like in quotes, I'm not talking about him, before they sentence people to prison, we, we need to be sure that psychiatrists are seeing this person. Is this person normal? Is this person normal? And is it a habit that has gone on for long? If you look at that case, the particular man is in his 50s, he has his own family. How is it to his family? How is his relationship, with his wife and children? How is he at home? Because everybody, you want to preserve something. You want to preserve your home. You want to preserve your family. You want to preserve your children. Please let me know when the time is up, please. So you want to preserve your home, your family, and all that. So when something abnormal like this happens, then something is wrong. And like I said, when it comes to personality disorders, people just do things for the fun of it, not because there's anything. They are the only ones that can cure themselves. No medication would do that for them. But rather, they could seek therapy, they could seek help, by opening up to people, and then they can find help if they are willing to change. And the other thing is, it could be a character flaw. It could just be that someone has decided, to take advantage of other people by using their own position of leadership, to milk others, to abuse others. So this is one of the instances we say this is sexual abuse or whatever abuse, emotional abuse, on the families and the nation at large. So this is, a form of abuse until otherwise proven. So let me just stop there to allow others to talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sheon. I'm always happy to hear you speak. Yeah. Meanwhile, you can mute. So meanwhile, can we benefit from hearing Innocent? Are you able to speak now? I would unmute you and see.
Yeah,
Are you,
yeah.
are you able to
Can you
speak now?
hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay, nice. So I really didn't know what the question was initially, but from the main subjects, I can see where we are headed. In my own view, when it comes to recording intimacy, like you're having intimacy with someone and you're recording, it might just be for fun sometimes. It might just be for fun. A lot of people have done this thing. We don't have to hide it. We don't have to it's because it's affected another person. Some time ago, we had a very popular celebrity in Nigeria had something like that. A leaked video of her showed up on the internet. So it happens sometimes when you're in that hyper mood. You just don't consider those things to be anything. Like you just feel like, oh, we're just going to keep it for ourselves, not knowing, because like this trending one, the guy didn't expect that someone is going to come search his computer or something. So the area I'm going to take in it has to do with, even if you have to do something like that, what are some of the cautions we can take, in order to avoid, especially when the two persons involved are actually, especially when they actually consent to it, when they actually want to do it. For me, it's not really a bad thing, but if the problem is, how do you keep it safe? How secure can you be with that information? Because once it goes out, it's actually your privacy, and it's not good. It's not good for the public. So how do you keep that privacy? I think we're going to look at that as when we talk about privacy. But generally, looking at the trending issue, I would want to say the blame shouldn't go to, especially when you have two persons involved and the two persons have agreed to do this stuff. Like in the video that is trending, we've seen that from the video, you can see that both parties were aware most of the time. I've seen some of the videos and you could see that both parties were aware most of the time. So if both parties were aware, I don't see any big deal in there. So the problem I want to tackle is, how do you keep your privacy private? Since you have choose to record a video of a state where you were vulnerable or something like that. So that's what we're going to look at. If I have an opportunity to talk again, I would like to talk about that aspect.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
I will need to mute
I will need to mute.
you. Okay, just to reduce the echo, I needed to mute some persons. Yeah, nice point. Yes, that's why it's called consensual. We can't judge the individuals for accepting, but we can only inform and to accepting to video themselves in such moments, but we can only inform them of the risk um, to their privacy and to security. So, in terms of privacy, I would just want to add something based on what Innocent has said. Some people say whatever is a secret, that once you tell another person, it's no longer a secret. And it's true in a lot of things in life, one of which is something like this. Your private moment with your partner, even if it's with your spouse, is a private moment. And once you decide to put it in a visual, in a recorded form, then there's a risk that it can leak, either knowingly or unknowingly. So that's why we need to be aware. There's also the fact that we should let people know that the current technologies supports um, makes it easy for people to get your recordings even non-consensually. So it's very easy nowadays for people to obtain recordings of you during your intimate moments. They could put a computer, a phone, even a pen that you may not even notice can be what they will use to record you. You need to be aware. You need to be aware that when you go to hotels these days, sometimes you need to search around to be sure there is no device that is installed to record you. All these are so that we should be more careful. And especially knowing the fact that people can actually use it to blackmail you. We've had situations where the person you had this consensual deal with was your partner, or you're in a relationship with that person, but something happened and you guys broke up along the line, and they come back to haunt you with those recordings. Especially if you are someone that will not want your private moments outside. So these are things we need to be aware of. They pose both risks to our security and our privacy. That said, we are aware that we might be we are still waiting for two persons to join us, might be technical issues. So let's still talk, and let's hear what else do we have to say about this issue while we wait for others to join in. Who would like to speak? I would unmute everybody, just that it's quite, it echoes a lot. Oh yeah, sure. Let's hear you.
Oh, okay. Um, That's a lot of echo. Okay, thank you so much. So, well, when it comes to things like this, we all have different views. No one is wrong, no one is right. But however, like Dr. Terry has said, nothing is private. Once it's on is on a gadget, once it's on the phone. There are also people, let's say the makers of Android phones. There are also some things, those datas, they use those datas, it goes somewhere. So nothing really is private in this world. And then also let's talk about, looking at children. A lot of when it comes to a lot of sexual, how do I say it? Sexual deviances. Yes, that's the word. When it comes to sexual deviances, lots of children are not taught, appropriateness. And that's why some people can do whatever they like. That's why some people can, So can just live anyhow. So there needs to be a conduct, there needs to be boundaries. Even if a wife of somebody allows her husband to record their intimate moment, that means there has, well, for me, that's the way I feel. There's been no boundaries set in place. We need boundaries even between husband and wives. There needs to be some sort of boundaries. One, the phone can get missing and somebody at work can pick up that phone. Children can also pick up that phone and look at those things, and then what kind of images will go through their minds. So when we look at our lives, that we are not living our lives for ourselves only. We also have those children to preserve. We have people we are accountable to. We can't just live our lives anyhow. And when we, most especially when we now say, oh, we are leaders, oh, people know us. No, there are ways we need to walk, not because we want to please people, but because our very steps, are ordered by God. One, our very steps are being watched by people who would maybe perhaps, live the kind of life we live if we have influenced them positively. So we need to know that the kind of life we live is not our own. And I'm sure the whole world is watching. They are waiting to know what will be the outcome of this, and it's very interesting to know what the outcome would be. But if it were to be in the UK, if it were to be in the UK, for the our lawyer to talk about it, but prison to be in the UK, this man would actually enter perhaps sexual offenders lists. Even in the US, this would happen, irrespective of whether they were consent or not, because according to the law, this man has violated the law. I know a lot of people do this thing and they are never caught, has now become the source. Usually, I tell people when it comes to the law, you would never understand the extent of the law until you walk in certain places. You would never understand the extent of the law until you hear some things. For instance, even in the UK, in court in the UK, where we think abortion is legal, there are some instances where when people commit abortion, they go to the prison. So sometimes there just has to just be one person that become the scapegoat, and then the law people would decide and form new laws to say no, this is wrong. Like when if you look at this GDPR, that the GDPR that started, I think, May 25, yes, maybe 2022 or thereabouts, or 2020, or I can't remember, but May 25, sure. It happened that people could get access to people's information. People could call people, scammers, and but so names, offices everywhere, is all over the place. All over the place. So they had to now be like a form of consent, written consent, such that even when you look at our phones, when you buy new gadget, they ask you, do you want your data to be shared? Do you want, and then you say yes, and all that. So these things are very important. And I believe that it would actually form a law, or people would actually arise and the world is watching and waiting to know the outcome. I just pray that the families of the victims will be consoled and comforted. It as well. It's very tough. It's very tough. It's more than the way we are saying it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Um, Out of curiosity, I'm just wondering. I would like to ask, why would it be illegal? I just want to know. Aside from the fact that he did it in his office, which I know there are laws around that, but let's imagine he did it in the comfort of his home,
Yeah.
um, with 400 different women. What will make it illegal? I'm just curious.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that would make it illegal is that by the time they start probing the victims, some of them would say that he abused them, he manipulated them. They would say that, oh, because maybe he gave them money or something, because they are victims. And by the time they look at the people of those women, even though they've said, okay, somebody, maybe the wife of somebody, his brother's wife, they will still think, and say that, yes, he used this position of power. One of the nicknames of this man is Belo. Belo means a handsome man. so, so somebody will come up to say that, you see, one is 54. I won't, okay, let me not say I won't be shocked. But they have to also look at the ages of those people. And then they will come out with law to say that that age is actually, that age gap is much. If, for instance, he's a 54-year-old man and he did it to somebody in her 20s, that's 30 years gap. And they will say that age gap is so much. And that's why it will, actually, become illegal. And then also for 400 people, something is wrong. It's not normal. It's not normal. So there must be a motive behind some of these things. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm just trying to juggle around the echo. We have Liman here. I know sometimes network can be a problem. Barrister Abdul Liman, it's great to have you here.
It's a
Are
pleasure.
you happy to speak with us now?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm
Oh,
listening.
great, great. So let's have your take, the legal aspect of this topic. Let's hear what you think, and let's learn from you.
Okay. Good evening. Hello. Can you hear me there?
Yes, I can hear you. I will not respond, so you can talk. Yeah, good evening.
Okay. Good evening.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. But without much ado, let me just proceed to address the aspect that was assigned to me. I think I'm built to address consensual recording and non-consensual recording, and the legal implications of them. Let me start with the consensual recording. Simply connotes that both parties to it have freely given their consent to film themselves while involving in an intimate activity. And from this end, I would say that there are instances that, despite the consent, it is illegal as far as the Nigerian law is concerned. And I will list some of them. For example, once either of the parties to the filming is married under the act, that will constitute an offense of adultery. So even though if there is consent, that may lead to an act being committed, and that may form a basis for dissolution of marriage under the act. That is those that conducted their marriage under the act. And similarly, in the northern part of Nigeria, it's also an offense for a married person to be involved in any sexual activity, talking of filming it. And we also have against same-sex marriage. Once the parties they are of similar sex, they cannot, in the first place, engage in sexual activity. So more talk more of recording it. Now the issue now is that let me go to the legal implication. Insofar as what is being recorded is not done publicly, it is done privately, of course, to some extent, it's allowed, subject to those persons that are listed that cannot be part of it because we have some laws that really prohibit and limit them from doing that. Now, let's go to the non-consensual aspect of it. If the consent is not there, what are the remedies or implications in law? I think let me start with the basic law of Nigeria, which is the Constitution, 1999 Constitution. for the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Look at Section 37. It provides for right to private and family life, and it shows that, of course, the privacy of every citizen of Nigeria in respect of what they do in their homes, their telephone conversations, and any communication between them is protected, is guaranteed and protected by law. And if there's any violation of that, of course, they have some remedies that are open to them in law. They can go for, we call it enforcement of fundamental rights, because that will constitute breach of their own fundamental rights. And they can go under, like all the states, or most of the states in Nigeria, they have what we call tort law, and also provides remedy against breach of privacy. Of course, they can go to court for an injunction restraining that, and they can also claim to compensation or damages in court. And once they can prove that, of course, that was what happened, the court is going to grant them this remedies and more. Now, let's go to the criminal aspect of it. I will limit myself. We have a law that we call Cyber Crimes Prohibition Act of 2015, which has been amended in 2020. If you look at section, I think 24, it talks about criminalizing what the act refers to as cyber stalking, and this involves sending message out there using the internet or computer, a message that it's offensive or pornographic, or it's obscene, or it affects the welfare or the reputation of another person. It's an offense. Once one is tried, convicted, and be sentenced to a term of imprisonment or fine or both. And we also have what we call part of it is if you post anything on the internet that that bullies another person, or that is being used by another person to extort money from the victim, of course, it's also an offense under that law. So once one is taken to court, tried and convicted, of course, to be sentenced, and then the fine is very huge. It ranges from 7 million naira to 25 million naira, and then the terms of imprisonment is also there. So the court can choose to award fine, looking at the circumstance of each case, or can award fine and as well commit the offender to prison. So basically, these are the legal implications of the issue that we're talking about. Just a summary, because it's a very broad issue that, of course, needs to be taken holistically. But just for the purpose of this program, I think this is the highlights of the legal implication of this consensual and non-consensual recording or filming of intimate activities. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Barrister Abdul Liman. Your volume was a bit low, but I made sure I tried to pick everything you said, and they were very helpful. And I would say very informative. I myself, I don't think I knew some of these things. So I'm happy to have been here to learn. I used to think that once two adults agree, it's their choice, it's their whatever they want. But you've opened my eye to know that there are many things involved. I didn't even know that adultery was illegal under the law, and that's
Yes,
very
adultery.
good to
Yes,
hear.
in northern Nigeria, of course, it's an
Guy,
offense.
you don't learn something now. An offense. So
Yes. Under the penal code, of northern
Consensual
Nigeria,
has been hammering it privately under the
Sorry,
common law. Adulteries.
Barrister is saying something. Don't mind us. We were just kicked back in. Yeah.
okay, I was saying that under the penal code of northern Nigeria, which is the criminal code that regulates offenses, it's an offense.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
once one of the parties is a Muslim, it's an offense. And at times you
Yes.
also look at the biological or blood affinity between or amongst the persons involved, because we have instances of you see, incest is an offense under the penal code of northern Nigeria. So if the
Mm.
sex or if the sex itself is between maybe a son and his mom, or a father and his daughter, and much more, persons of close biological affinity, of course, is also prohibited.
Yes.
Then
And
yet again,
in this guy's case, it was found that he even slept with his cousins. His cousins were there. So the guy is definitely going to prison by virtue of the law.
so I wouldn't
Is
know.
there is definitely
Okay, I know. I wouldn't know. I'm not. I'm speaking in respect of.
Barrister is speaking from the angle of the Nigerian law.
no. I was just making a own private reference, not with Barrister. I was just saying based on the fact that he was involved with his cousins, then he's in a lot of trouble. It was just a separate talk. I'm not linking what Barrister said to it, but I'm just learning that if there are a lot of angles that the guy could be held accountable to, including the fact he is married, the fact that he's sleeping with his cousins, multiple women. So there are many issues. So I just brought up the aspect of the fact that he sleeps with his cousin, which is also illegal. I think Barrister has had a network glitch. Let me unmute Innocent, like he wants to talk.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask the barrister a question, but I think he's off already. Well, he kept saying northern penal code, right? Uh, so does it mean it applies in the north and it doesn't apply in other parts of Nigeria? That's what I wanted to ask. But he's not here, I guess.
Okay. When he comes back, we'll throw the question back at him. Hopefully he comes back before we end. So far we've missed Mars, and we hope she's fine. But it's been a good session so far. Let's just spend 2 minutes. I'll give each person 2 minutes to quickly say something. I have something I want to say too, but I'll keep myself for the last. Let me hear what you think about this issue, just to add to what has been said. And also, I would want, if you don't mind, I would want someone to talk a bit about. I'm coming. Just give me 1 minute. There is something that came to mind which I think we've not talked about. I want somebody to talk about it. I'm trying to remember what it is. Um, yeah, so I want somebody to talk about what are the factors that make people to engage in this activity, and also let's discuss a bit about consenting to such activity. What makes for consent to engage in such activity? So let's discuss this before I will give us the final 2 minutes to talk to conclude the show. Are we on mute, everyone? And please just tell me if you want to talk.
No
Yeah, I
on
want to
YouTube.
say something. Can I go on?
Yeah, Innocent. Yeah, let's hear you.
Yeah, so I feel one of the factors that really prompt people to want to do this recording is the popularity of porn. Now, lately we have just a click on your web browser, you can have access to pornography. It's just there. It's everywhere. In fact, if you want to try to avoid it, it's pursuing you if you are someone that's constantly online. If you are someone that browses on X, for instance, the X app, you will see that it's all there. It's on the timeline. So people see these things, and some of this trending recording that I watched, we could even I saw people matching his demonstrations, like the way he was acting with some porn stars, the way they act. So for me, I looked at it and I felt like he didn't just go doing this recording. It was prompted from him watching porn. And a lot of people do that as well, I'm very sure. They want to record the moment just like they see in the porn. And the porn has actually really affected the society because of the way it's being shown. People want to also have sex like that, not knowing that most times it's film trick. It's mostly film trick. Because if you want to go and have sex like that, like you want to have sex for like 2 hours long, it's not normal. It's not normal. So that's one thing people have to be aware of. I think one factor that really affected or prompts people generally to do such thing is the prevalence of porn on the internet.
Okay. Oh, in addition to that, fantastic that your submission, innocent. In addition to that, the fact is, um, there is a lot of poverty in the land. Now, to merge that with what Innocent just said, you see this pornography thing. It is now, the fact is, people are making money from it. So, gone are those days where porn stars are more prevalent or seen in the advanced countries. They do it for leisure, not just for money. But now, in the developing world, people are making money from this act. So that's why you see many people trying to keep up with it. It's for them. It's more easier to just get a man, sleep with a man, record ourselves, and upload it on the internet. And people that want to watch it, they put it on internet where they put it on a website where subscribers that want to watch pay subscription fee. And so monthly, yearly, they make money from it. It's just like a cash cow, just more like it's become a profession for them, easy profession for them if they don't have anything. So you see, that's one of the motivation. Making money from this thing is one of the motivation why people go into recording their intimate moments. That's one. Secondly, another reasons why people record their intimate moments, some will tell you is because they do it for fun. Some want to some some say they are fulfilling some sort of fantasy. You know, these days people talk about sexual fantasies, and you begin to hear a lot of things. If you are on the gram, Instagram, um, and you read comments of people, um, even while this video was trending, um, the Instagram blogs yeah, that carried the news and all of that. If you read comments of people, because I did not even go. It was from Instagram I first saw it. So when I had to sit down reading the comments. It was even from the comments I got to know some of the things people were saying and the pictures. It was most times those pictures I was just consuming. I was looking at, and you begin to hear people read from people saying that um, that's one way for them to fulfill fantasy. Some want to stay in front of the mirror and record themselves again so that later they watch themselves later. Some sort of things, weird things that, you know, forgetting the fact that, like we mentioned earlier, that these things um, could be leaked. Anything could happen along the way. It could be many people do not even they are not even tech savvy as to keeping this thing, protect this thing, archive this thing. You know, one thing I would have loved the barrister to talk about again was for us to talk about privacy and confidentiality. And this trending video, the man, if not for the fact that he is married and under the law, once you commit adultery, that is a criminal offense. In my own opinion, I was looking at, this is just food for thought. I was looking at, you know, most of the videos, according to what people are saying, they are two consenting adults. So from the actions, people said from the actions, the ladies they were happy to be involved in the act. And so if that is what played out, if actually that is what happened, well, I know, Dr. Shem, you are looking from the mental aspect and all that. So if the two of them, they're all consenting adults and they consented to the act, now there is a there is confidentiality breach here by the authorities. These are things that are done in private, and they kept that their private stuff in privately. So you leaking it out to the public, that's, yes, while the guy is guilty of adultery, the authorities that also leaked those things, in my own opinion, I'm not a barrister, I would have want the barrister to also come out. He could, if, well, I cannot be in that position because can't even see myself. I can't even see myself recording. It doesn't make any sense to me. You see, I have a lot to say. In my own opinion, I feel that people that have such kind of fetish, your memory is enough. If you have good time with your partner, eh, yes, you can keep those things in your memory, right? You can keep those things in your memory. If it has faded off from your memory, go back again to the act. You keep doing it and it sticks. There are intimate moments that I will always not forget. It's there in my mind, right? So there's no point for me recording it. So now, if I now happen to record and one authority leaks my privacy, that's my privacy. I am, I have under there's right to my private life. It's a fundamental human right. And now, one authority now leaks that. That's you were talking something about GDPR, Dr. Shehu. Yes, that's a confidential breach. And so he too can make a statement about that. While they are finding him, taking him to court, he could also uh, fight the authority that yes, they have breached his own fundamental human rights. So that was just one of the additions I wanted to point out. Thank you.
Yes, Tunde, do you know I love this angle you came from? It's always easy for everybody to talk in one way, but you brought up a very important angle. But I will show you why. I will tell you why I don't agree with you. But it's a very good point. You see, anything you do with your work device is not private. I learned that long ago. In fact, here where we use work devices, they can actually trying to investigate you for anything. They can actually pry into whatever you have in the device. So for
Sorry,
this guy,
is it a work device he used or his
yeah, so
personal
this is
device?
the problem. It was his work devices, and the activities were done in his office.
Some, some, some of the activities in the
No,
office.
the
Okay, the
information I
ones that
got, I may be wrong, but the information I got, so this was what happened. They were investigating him for financial crimes. They broke into his office, and it was while trying to get the information for his financial crimes that they found those things in his work office. So there are some things that come into play. One, the activities were done in his office. The activities were recorded with work equipment. And lastly, he is a highly placed individual. So let me explain something. There are some things you will do and I will do that will not come to the public. There are some things the president will do in a responsible country. It has to come to the public because of his position in the society. I don't know if you get my point. If maybe one ordinary person somewhere is doing it and is not doing it in his office and all the women accepted to do it, I doubt we have much case to fight aside from the fact that the person is married, which might bring in the aspect of adultery. Um, but the factors against this guy are so much. In Nigeria, we are not used to our leaders taking accountability. But the truth is, when you get to the position of leadership, what is expected of you is at another level. You can't do everything other people are doing. You get? I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I love your logic because the truth is there are some scenarios where this will be illegal from the government prying into your own privacy. But I think in this particular case, they can actually justify what they did. And it just means that people should know and people should be more responsible. You can't be using your workplace to do certain things. You can't be using your work laptop or PC to do certain things. You just inviting trouble. Thank you. I think she'll want to say something. Sorry, I'll unmute you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tunde, Mr. Innocent, Dr. Terry, from all the angles where you've spoken from. Thank you so much. So, like Dr. Terry said, first of all, he is in a position of authority. When we talk, when Mr. Tunde talked about, oh, it could be because of pornography, and Mr. Innocent, he is not a porn man. He is an authority figure. One, I wrote down some points. Also, he has something to lose. He has lost his, because of this kind of issues. He has lost his integrity, his belief, or people's beliefs in him. And I also want to say something. Shame is part of all of us. Shame is part of us. When we think twice, oh, if I do this to this person, how would I feel? My conscience is either, just say, oh, it's okay, I can just go away with it. But what is that conscience saying? That's another thing. And then when we talk about, like those ladies, why did they consent? One, some of those women may not even know that they are valuable. They think, oh, he's a rich man. Well, I quickly read about Equatorial Guinea, and I said, okay, he's a country. They are not even up to 2 million, and they are quite wealthy, but the wealth is not evenly distributed. And so, oh, influential man. Oh, so if this man says you come and sleep with me, oh, because he's handsome man, so that's alone. So because some of them perhaps don't even know who they are. Or could it be to just shame their spouses to say that, what is it? I've slept with your wife. So he has abused his position of authority. If you can remember, this man, Matt Hancock, he was the health minister during COVID. Just one thing, what did he do? And in the lift, on the lift, and that was the end of his job. That was the end of his job. The shame and everything. And also, I also want to say something. It's because sometimes a lot of people do things and they go away with in some places, in some religious places. When I say religious, no, I don't mean that faith people. No, religious places. For instance, a brother can rape a sister and they say, forgive him now, just anybody. But in UK, a lot of people are in the prison because of sexual offenses. I don't even know how to even say it, because sometimes, there are some uncles, they've raped girls, they've raped, molested, and they nobody said anything. They shut up the mouth of those girls or those people. But here, there's safeguarding and there's still a lot of abuse. But once it comes out and the person press charges, that person would actually have to learn what it means to be sex educated. That person would actually even pay dearly for it. So, sometimes people, I remember before I even started working in prison, somebody said, oh, there are lots of blacks in the prison, then and everything. He said, oh, that if a girl just says that, a white girl, for instance, just says that, oh, the black guy raped her, that's it though. So we need, to teach our children sex education, appropriateness. Don't have sex until you get married. If you have had it before you get married, control yourself. Just stay there. Because, just that one offense can ruin people's lives. Sometimes, because people do it and they are not punished. In certain places, they get punished, and that will be the end of their destiny. You know, Mighty men are pulled down by these things. So he is a mighty man, and it's unfortunate that he will serve as example to all of us. We are learning, from what has happened. We are not judging him, no, but we are learning, and we also want to do right. And we pray that continuously we will do right, and we will be able to control ourselves. And that's one of the part of the gift of the Holy Spirit, self-control. Every day we are fighting it. We are striving to live for purity, to live that pure life, so that we are accountable to God and to men. So when and like Dr. Terry said, because maybe people feel they are not accountable. No, we are first of all accountable to God and then to men. But when people say they are not accountable to anybody, that means already they are not teachable and they can fall. This kind of thing can happen to them. Let me not take much of our time. I'm grateful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. Yeah. It's been a good one. As always, 1 hour runs so fast. We've gotten close to the end of the program. I will just quickly talk a bit about consent in particular. Then we move to give everybody 2 minutes to give us a conclusion on what you think. A bit about consent. So consent is not just about telling someone I would like to do this and the person says yes. It goes deeper than that. So we want to look at the age of the person. Definitely we know children cannot get consent, but cannot give consent for such activities, but adults can. So once you are over 18, you can. But there are other things that come into play. For example, the person that is giving this consent might have consented up to a particular level in terms of using that media. The person did not expect that this media would be handled inappropriately and leak. So you can find that even though the lady in question consented for the activity, she can still sue that she did not expect or did not accept that the activity should go beyond the two of them. Or she could sue that she didn't expect that the media will be kept for this long. There are many ways it can go. So consenting is quite deep. It's not just about saying, do you accept or not, and then we'll go ahead and do it. So I just wanted to look at that. Then there's also the aspect of your relationship with the person. So I'll give you an example. It has to do with people who are very highly placed individual or who are very respected in the society. You know, I, for example, as a doctor, can maybe be able to convince a lady, a young lady, my patient or whatever, to do something, and she accepted. But she might have been influenced by my position in the society. I'm a very small person in society. You have very senior people in the society, politicians, and all that. So, or you might have a young lady, she's an adult, maybe 20-year-old, but she looks up to you, a 50-year-old man, as someone who knows it all. And if he can say this is right, then this is right. You might obtain consent from that kind of lady, and it will fail the test in court of law because they might be able to prove that although she said yes, she was influenced by your position. So these are the things we need to look at. It's not all free, all right as we think. And especially for people from our society who seem to do less of um, keeping their knowledge up to date when it comes to legal issues, and you find that some persons change country and then fall into trouble, and they think that, oh, this is normal, I didn't do anything, but whereas they might have entered into a big trap. It's good that we know the law and how it works in different countries we stay in. And so that's just what I wanted to briefly talk about. This will bring us nicely to a quick 2 minutes per person. Just tell us any other thing you might want to add. If you have nothing to add, you can say pass. Tunde, you're mute. Let me unmute you.
All right, so we can hear me. So for me, in addition, and closing this program, we should all understand that when things like this happen between the man and the woman, I'm not gender biased. In our type of society, the woman suffers more.
True.
We have this patriarchal kind of society, and there's a lot of expectation for the woman. A lot of modesty is expected, where a man can be forgiving and just looked at and say, you know, but the woman will be stigmatized. So, both in the religious setting, she will be stigmatized, both in your environment, in the family, you become a you'll be pushed away, and you may lose your marriage. You may, if you are not married, it might be difficult, except maybe by God's grace, or you change environment, you might not be able to get suitable spouse, suitable. I mean suitable now. I'm not saying you might not be able to get spouse. So many things will work against you. In fact, even your career to some extent might be at stake, because where you work and things like this happen, you if you don't lose your job, it will be to just you have to go to church to do a testimony. So in all fronts, as a woman, you are going to lose on all ends. That is why it doesn't make any sense to uh, consent to that kind of activity. And as the man too, yes, you might say yes, the woman will lose such kind. Of course, he is out of losing his job too. Even if his family, yes, the family might pardon him and he can move on. But in his career and in the religious setting, he might not receive that pardon. So both genders will suffer to some extent, even though woman will suffer a lot. So let's quit this kind of activities and store up every memories that we need to store on our mind, in our brain, in our head. To whom sense is given, wisdom is expected. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nice conclusion. Seun, let's hear from you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Tunde. Thank you, everyone. I just remembered this woman, Monica Lewinsky. I'm sure that name resonates with many people. Clinton, if you search the internet, you see her name as Clinton Lewinsky scandal. I remember watching a TED talk she did many years ago, and she tagged it "The Price of Shame." She went through a lot. She was a young woman, aspiring woman. I just said the internet now, she's 51 years old. She's not married. And after the whole event in 1997, she came out to talk about, cyberbullying and all of this that we are seeing now. And that was just, one woman, just one. Now looking at the effects, on over 400, like they have said, we don't know whether it's still an alleged, we don't know whether it's real or alleged or something. So now, not to now talk about over 400 people. No, it's just too much. It's just too much. It's just too much. So all I would just say is that, we need to strive, to continue to just live that life of purity. It may not be easy, but every day, daily, we put our bodies, ourselves, under subjection to walk in purity, and it saves of disgrace. It saves from a lot of things. Sometimes, I tell people it's not intelligence that takes people to high places, but rather it's character. Wherever we go, our character, is very important. People can, they can be the best physicians, they can be the best this, the best that, but what would actually sustain them is not those academic prowess, it's their character. Just my take home. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Us is character, and that is true. No matter, you can be the best surgeon, but you just do one thing and you're out of the system. You're out of the system. It's character. You have to be conscious about it. Don't just do anything you like. We're not judging people. This is not a moral platform, but we just talk common sense. That's what we do. If what we do resonates with you, please support us by following our different platforms, liking what we do, forwarding what we do, and especially participate during the program. Hopefully, we see you next week. We don't usually give a hint of what will happen the next week, but we'll just give you a bit of hints just to prep the soil. So next week, we intend to discuss. Let me be sure what we want to discuss next week. I know it's a very interesting topic, but I can't remember again. So there was my brain just went off. Do you remember what we plan to discuss next week?
You ask me that, who I go ask?
Okay, don't worry. It's very interesting. I'm going to get back to you guys. We'll just know that next week is going to be fun. Hope to see you there and see you next week. Bye.